Hey everyone, welcome to part 11 of this Trophy Gathering walkthrough for Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Thanks for coming along on this journey with me, and a special thank you to all of the channel members. Now at the end of the last video, we got the ability with SK to swim through coral reefs, and that's where the game wants us to go, but instead we're going to turn around and we're going to go back through the large portal behind us, and that will take us into Old Lumiere, where we've got some things that we can do and some more items to get. So starting off, we're going to move forward and we want to run toward the large glowing sword in the distance. We weren't able to come back here while we were playing through the story section before because this was all blocked off, but now we can keep going straight ahead and explore some new areas. So now let's go up the ramp in front of us, and there's going to be an enemy over on the left on a lower platform. Let's jump down there and fight this enemy. We're getting to the point where our characters are strong enough thanks to their builds and their stats that we can go through fights like this relatively easily without risk of taking much damage at all. So starting off, we're just going to use a bunch of free aim shots with Verso, and when we run out of AP, then we're just going to attack that same enemy. After that, we get Verso's follow-up turn. We're going to shoot a few more times with our free aim shot. If we can take out that enemy, we also get some more energy thanks to the dead energy Pictos, and then we'll start shooting another energy and follow that up with a base attack. Now with my yell, we're just going to use a Pierce against the enemy with full health, and that should take him out immediately. And now with Monoco, if any of the enemies are remaining, just use free aim shots to take them out. We've only got one enemy remaining here, so I'm just going to use Chevalier Piercing to hit the weakness to physical damage on this enemy, and that will be enough to take him down very easily. So we got through all three enemies being defeated without taking any damage in that fight. After that, we're going to hop back up on the ledge next to us, and there's going to be another enemy in this area. Let's go over there and fight this one. This is a pretty similar fight to the last one, but these enemies are weak to lightning, so we can have Verso just unload with a whole bunch of free aim shots so we're out of AP, and then we can attack the one that we were shooting. Now on Verso's follow-up turn, we'll attack a different enemy. This time we're attacking the one on the right. Again, we're just going through our AP until we can use a base attack after that. With my yell, we'll use a Pierce against the enemy who still has full health, and that will take that one down. And finally with Monoco, we can have him finish off these enemies. They're also weak to darkness damage, which the weapon on Monoco deals, so we're able to shoot these guys and take them down without any problem at all. Now that we're done with the fight, we want to open up the paint cage that's nearby. It's located at the base of the building over on the left. So what you want to do is turn around, and we're going to shoot the first paint cage lock up on the side of this building, then turn over toward the left, and we can see another one on the side of a building in the distance. Then keep turning left and go over to where the paint cage is. If we look into the distance, we're going to see the third lock up on the wall. We can shoot that one, and then that's going to release the paint cage. Now let's grab the item inside. It's a new weapon for Lune called Redalim. It has a base power of 336, the ice element, and it scales with both defense and agility. Once that's done, turn back around so that you're going toward the building with that first paint cage lock, and you want to climb up the ledge that's right by it. Now we can run forward and stick over toward the right hand side. As we circle around the building, we can pick up an item off the ground. This is going to be a color of Lumina. After that, we're going to drop down the nearby ledge, and then we're going to keep following the building around. We're going to run toward the lamppost in the distance and just keep going forward in between these buildings. We can then use the grapple point to go across toward the other side, and then we'll fight this group of enemies in the middle. Just two enemies this time. We're going to have Verso start by using some free aim shots just to deal some damage, and then we're going to attack with our base attack. Thanks to a mark and some critical hits, we were able to take that enemy down, and then we'll focus on the other enemy after that. We'll attack this enemy. That one went down too. If we weren't able to do that both with Verso, then Mime could just finish off the enemy with a Pierce. After that battle, we're going to keep going forward along the path. We use the grapple point to go over the gap toward the top of the hill. And then we're going to keep going up the hill so that we can use the golden rope at the top. Once you're at the top, ignore the grapple point across from you and instead walk off the side of the ledge. You'll fall down onto a building and then down onto the ground where you can pick up some chroma.
Ow, wow.
Now we can take the nearby golden rope back up toward the top. Once you're up here, turn toward the left and follow the cliff around. And then use the handholds to start moving your way over toward the left and up. Once you're at the top, turn left and keep going forward, and then use the grapple point on the far building. Once you're over here, continue along the path, and then use the handholds to climb up the cliff. Once you're at the top, proceed forward and you'll see another large enemy over here. Let's go fight this one. Let's start by having Verso use some free aim shots. And once he's out of AP, then we can use a base attack. On his follow-up turn, we'll do the same thing. Fire some free aim shots and then use a base attack. Now that he's good and weak, we can have Mime use a Pierce. And that's all there is to that fight. We get some pretty good rewards for this fight. We got enough experience for both Mime and Monoco to level up. And we also got the Gold Chevalier's Foot, which gives us a new skill for Monoco. And then our Perilous Parry Pictos got upgraded from level 8 to level 10. Because we fought 4 battles with some new Pictos equipped, we also mastered them and we learned their Luminas. Now let's go forward and we can pick up this new Pictos on the ground. This is Healing Death. On death, the rest of the expedition recover all health. Then turn toward the right and drop down the cliff. We're now going to turn toward the right and go forward. Once you go through this little canyon, turn toward the left and follow the cliff face. You'll see a glowing orb over here. We can use that to create a shortcut going down to the lower section, but we're not going to take it. Then we're going to turn around and follow the ledge over toward the left, where we can find another glowing orb, which can create another pathway for us. But we're also going to ignore that one. Instead, we're going to turn toward the right and then run forward so that we can use this expedition flag. Let's go down to the upgrade attributes option. And we'll start with CL on the left. We're going to give her a few more points into Might, raising her total to 96. With Lune, we're going to give her 6 points into Might, raising her total to 90. Now Verso is at 99 points, so we can't give him any more points into Might. So let's look at our other options. If we go with Vitality, that will increase the character's maximum health, and because his weapon also scales with Vitality, we'll get a few more points into attack power as well. But I don't think that's the best option. Let's see what else we can do. If we go down to defense, we can get obviously a boost to defense to reduce our incoming damage, and because his weapon scales with defense, we get an attack power boost. If we go down to luck, we can increase our critical hit rate. That can be pretty useful to do more damage, and also our speed increases. So putting points into luck isn't a bad idea, but we can raise our critical hit rate with other options, so I'm not going to do that. I'm instead going to put points into agility to greatly increase our speed and give ourselves a little bit of defense. It doesn't do more damage, but the fact that we'll get more turns more often means we are in fact able to do more damage. Mime's weapon does scale with agility, so putting 6 points into that also gives her an attack power boost. And then with Monoco, we're going to give him a few more points into Might to raise his total up to 99. Alright, when you're all ready, we're just going to quickly rest because we do have a boss fight coming up. And then we're going to leave the expedition flag, and we're going to continue following the path forward. We'll see a golden rope over here on the edge of the cliff, so we're going to use that to go down to the lower level. And then we'll continue on the path in front of us. In the distance, you'll see a large enemy with a big black circle next to it. We want to go down there and fight this enemy. The trick to beating this enemy is to parry its attacks. Luckily, it only has 2 attacks that we have to worry about, and I find that the timing of these are fairly simple once you get used to it. So the battle will begin with a Chromatic Danseuse using a dance combo. It's going to be a total of 7 hits that really come in groups of 2s with 1 at the end of it. And if you can pull off the parry, you'll do lots of damage to the enemy. The boss will also summon 2 clones that you just want to ignore, because if we kill a clone before killing the enemy in the middle, it's only going to create more clones and make the battle take longer. So we're just going to focus on attacking the enemy in the middle. Verso will just use up his AP, and then we can go ahead and use base attacks. If you do get a mark to pop up, then stop with the free aim shots and just use a base attack for some more damage. The clones will do the same dance combos as the main body, and it's the exact same timing, so just make sure that you're doing those parries properly and you should be able to get through it no problem. If you mess up and take some damage, it's okay, because you can see how much healing you were getting thanks to our Pictos choices. So even messing up 1 parry isn't a big deal. You're able to heal just by continuing to parry the other attacks, but you won't get that counter damage, so the battle will take a little bit longer. Not a big deal though. Alright, it's Mael's turn, and the enemy has a filled up break gauge, so I'm going to use Fleuret's Fury to break the enemy. That just prevents the main enemy from attacking, but the clones will continue to attack. Just go ahead and keep parrying those attacks. The enemy is pretty fast and gets lots of turns, and because there's 3 enemies, we'll be dealing with this dance combo pretty frequently. But like I said, once you get the timing down, it becomes very simple. Now with Monoco, we have at least 8 AP, so we can use Portiere Crash to deal high damage to all the enemies, and we're able to break the 2 clones in the process. It's back to Verso. Let's keep attacking using our free aim shots, and then we're going to use base attacks against the enemy. And we'll do the same thing on the follow-up turn, but if you do get a mark, stop shooting and just switch over to the base attack immediately to do more damage. Now let's talk about the enemy's other attack, the Gradient Fall. When it jumps up into the air, wait until it starts moving back down towards you. That's when you want to hit R2 to do the gradient counter. And here it comes again from the other clone. And now the enemy goes back to using its normal dance combo. It's that 7-hit attack, so we're just going to parry all of these and get the counter. Now the main body's dead, but we still have to take out the 2 clones. They don't disappear automatically. Luckily, it's still pretty simple. We're going to use those same tactics of using our free aim shots. If we get a mark, we're just going to switch over to our base attack, and then we're going to do the same thing on the follow-up turn. It's Mael's turn, and we're in Virtuo stance, so we're doing plus 200% damage. Let's just use a Pierce against the enemy that we were attacking with Verso, and we'll deal a ton of damage to this one. It only has a sliver of health left, so after this dance combo, when we parry it and then counter, we should be able to eliminate the enemy. Now there's only 1 enemy left. We're just going to keep parrying the attacks and counter attack. It's Monoco's turn again. The enemy has a full break gauge and we've got at least 8 AP, so we'll use another Portiere Crash and we're going to do lots of damage to it and break the enemy again. Verso has an S rank in Perfection, so we can do a lot of damage to the enemies with our attacks. Let's just keep using our free aim shots until we run out of AP or get a mark, and then we'll use a normal base attack. And let's just finish the enemy off real quickly because it only has a little health. And that's a pretty easy way to end the fight. It wasn't perfect, we didn't get that 20% bonus multiplier, but I still got over 116,000 experience, which was enough for Verso and Monoco to level up. We get a new Pictos called Revive Paradox, play immediately when revived, and we get a new weapon for Verso called Danseso. It has a base power of 386, the fire element, and it scales with agility and luck. We get 6 polished chroma catalysts for helping to upgrade weapons up to level 9, and 15 colors of Lumina, which will come in very handy for us. Now we're going to continue straight ahead forward. We want to go to the far back right corner of this area so that we can pick up an item on the ground. If we circle around toward the right here, we can find some chroma on the ground. Let's pick that up.
Nice.
Now let's go back the way we came. We're going to follow the train tracks up until where it gets a little bit narrower, and then we can jump over the gap here, and then run up the train tracks as they go up into the sky, and at the top is going to be a broken pillar. If we jump over to the top of that, we can pick up some more chroma.
Perfect.
We can drop down from the top of the pillar, and then proceed forward and go up the ramp. Once we get to the top, keep going forward, and we're going to use the glowing rope in the distance to go back up toward the top of the area. Continue along the path until you get back by the expedition flag. If you want to, go ahead and use it to rest up if you took some damage during that fight. And then we're going to leave the expedition flag and keep going forward. We're going to go down the golden rope that we opened up second on our way through here. It's the closest one that we come to, the one that we come to first. And then we'll keep going down the ramp in front of us. There's another expedition flag here. We don't have to use it because this is the same area that we ran through earlier in the story. We just didn't get to explore it fully because of the story. So as we run through here, there's a couple enemies. I'm going to ignore all the fights in this area because we fought them all before, and we're going to take this grapple point across and then take the next grapple point across again and continue forward. As we turn toward the left, we can go by the glowing sword and then run over toward the hill on the right. Once we go up, we'll jump over the gap, go forward, and then toward the left. Now we can run through this canyon to the other side, and then continue to go forward. We're going to go straight along this path, and then use the grapple point to go over the gap. We're going to run past the fading man that we talked to earlier, and we're going to take the ramp down toward the right. We can go in between these buildings. And right around here is where we got a cutscene with Lune and we couldn't play with her anymore, but now we can explore the area by turning toward the left. You want to keep circling around the buildings toward the left-hand side, and once you get past the buildings, if you look left, you're able to go through a narrow passageway that's going to take you to some chroma at the end of the path. Now that we have the chroma, we can turn around to go back the way we came, and we can fight the nearby enemy. Starting off, we'll have Verso use some free aim shots. And then we'll use a base attack. On the follow-up turn, we'll attack the same enemy just with a base attack. That should be enough to finish him off. And then with Mael, we can use a Pierce against the last remaining enemy. And then both of them are defeated, and we can continue on. Let's continue along the path in front of us. And there's going to be another enemy up ahead. Let's go ahead and fight this one. We'll begin by having Verso use his free aim shots. We're going to attack the enemy in the middle. And then we can use a base attack. Now we'll switch our focus over onto the enemy on the right. After a few free aim shots, then we can use another base attack. I got pretty lucky getting marks on these enemies, which allowed me to kill them outright. And now with Mayel, we can just use a Pierce to finish off the enemy. If you didn't get those marks and couldn't kill them, Monoco can come in and finish the job no problem on those two enemies, the one in the middle and the one on the right. After the battle, we'll keep going forward, and we can see some handholds in the rock in front of us. Let's use those handholds to go up and over toward the left. We'll drop back down, and then continue along the path in front of us. At the bottom of this hill, we'll fight the enemy. Here we have two more enemies that we've seen a lot of recently. Once again with Verso, we'll use some free aim shots and then follow that up with a base attack.
Let's cover path.
And now let's just take out that same enemy. And with Mayel, we'll use a Pierce to win the fight against the last remaining enemy. After the fight, we can look toward the right and we'll see another Mime enemy toward the edge of the cliff. Let's go over there and then we can fight this enemy. It's very similar to the other Mimes that we fought before. It has the same tactic of putting up a barrier at the beginning of the fight, and we have to break its defense before we're able to do lots of damage to it. And it has the same two attacks as all the other Mime enemies that we've seen. This one does begin with 3 shields, so we'll use a couple free aim shots with the Verso to get rid of those shields, and then we can use a base attack.
Let's carve a path.
Now we're just going to use a couple more free aim shots against the enemy just to keep building up our perfection gauge, and we'll use another base attack. With Mayel, we're just going to use a Pierce to build up its break gauge. And then with Monoco, all we want to do right now is attack it normally. It's Verso's turn again. Let's use some free aim shots in order to keep building up a little bit more break gauge toward it and our perfection gauge. And then we're going to attack it with the base attack. And now with our follow-up turn, we'll see that the enemy's break gauge is filled, so we'll use Radiant Slash in order to break it. It's Mayel's turn again, and we're going to use the skill Spark to deal a little damage and also inflict a burn for some bonus passive damage. Now with Monoco, you want to look at his bestial wheel and match up a skill that does damage to whatever it's on. So because it's balanced, I'm going to use Chalier Combo to deal massive damage to the enemy. There you go, that was over 29,000 damage with one attack, and we probably could have done some more too because the enemy just ran out of health before we were done attacking. After the fight with the Mime, we're going to turn around and we're going to run straight ahead until we can see another grapple point that we can use. Let's use the grapple point to go to the far building. Now keep running along the narrow path. Once you get over here, you can see another grapple point in the distance next to the large sword, so we'll go over there, turn left, and then follow the path. At the intersection, we're going to go over toward the left-hand side, and we're going to use this golden rope to go down to the lower area. Now let's go forward and we'll fight the enemy over here. There are no tricks to this fight. We've seen these enemies many times before. With Verso, we'll use one free aim shot, and then we'll use a base attack. And on the follow-up turn, we'll do the same thing. One free aim shot, and then the base attack. That enemy might be gone. And then we'll have Mayel use Pierce to take out the other enemy. If Verso failed to kill that first enemy, you've got Monoco to finish the job, no problem. And at this point, Verso got up to level 36. Now let's go forward just a little bit and we can pick up some chroma off the chair.
Useful.
And then if we keep going straight ahead, we can find an expedition journal at the base of this sword. Let's go ahead and have a listen.
Armand, Expedition 42. It's been 2 weeks, and still no word from Freya or Olivier. They've never missed a check-in before, no matter how exciting their find. Oh, my friends, I hope the end was swift. The grandest exhibit is likely our last, but as Olivier would say, it is also our grandest. I wish you were here, making that joke for the 1000th time. I'm proud of our work. We've pieced together so much. I just wish we had more time. The Gommage is still a few months away. Perhaps I can make one last trek. If you're reading this, my unknown future friend, I hope the information we've gathered helps you find answers. We've done what we could, in the hopes that you will prevail. Tomorrow comes.
After collecting the journal for Expedition 42, we're going to turn around and we're going to go over toward that golden rope again and use it to go up to the top. Now we can just run straight ahead of us, and that's going to take us back over to the manor where we fought Renoir before. Once we get to the middle of the area, turn toward the right and go through the large portal, and that's going to take us back out onto the world map so that we can actually continue with the story portion of the game. We took this detour for a few reasons. We wanted to get a little bit stronger, we wanted to get some good items, but also we wanted to get enough chroma so that we can purchase everything from the next Gestral merchant in the next area. Once you're back out onto the world map, get onto Esquier and then go forward into the water. We can now go through these red coral reefs, and we want to swim over toward the island in the distance that looks like it has giant faces on it. And this is going to be our next story area. Let's go up onto the beach and then continue going forward toward the portal, and this will take us into our new area, Visages. Once you get inside, keep going forward and listen to the dialogue.
So this is Visage Island?
He who guards truth with lies.
Are those faces?
An infinite sea of them.
I hope you're not too creeped out by a bunch of weird faces, because we're going to see a lot of them in this area. We'll continue forward, and then we can pick up this item on the ground. It's going to be a color of Lumina. And then we're going to go back the way that we came, but stick over toward the right and go through this canyon. We're going to run all the way until we get up to a new expedition flag.
Is the island singing?
This melody.
This is creeping me out.
Once you see the expedition flag, keep going forward to get a cutscene.
What's it doing?
It's not attacking.
Was that an invitation?
So it seems.
Feels like a trap.
I don't mind a straightforward path for once. Better than battling through a mountain of Neverons.
No, Verso's right. Something feels off.
Oh, I'm harmless. You don't need those.
Well, if you're harmless, then these weapons will stay harmless too.
Touché. Well, Visage invites you to join him in his chamber at the end of this path. I assume that's why you're here.
Where do the other paths lead?
You're free to traverse them. Masks are not just to obscure, they may also illuminate. Look for the masks that you need.
Meaning?
The invitation stands.
Well, head straight to the Axon. Or take the other paths.
After the cutscene, we're going to go forward and we're going to use the expedition flag. We've leveled up a few times, so let's go to upgrade attributes. Starting off with Ciel, we're going to put 3 more points into Might to raise her total up to 99. Lune is going to get 3 more points into Might, raising her total to 93. Verso gets 6 more points into Agility, raising his total up to 9. Mayel will get 3 more points into Agility, raising her total to 9. And then Monoco is going to put 3 points into Agility. Once you've upgraded all the attributes, leave the menu, and then we want to go over to the Gestral Merchant, who's located just around the corner from us. Let's go over and talk. Hi! Lovely to meet you. Bravo on surviving out here. We'll choose trade, and then we do want to fight this merchant, so hold down square, and that will unlock the special inventory. Let's just use Verso as our expeditioner combatant. We're going to fight the same way that we have before. We're going to keep using our free aim shots to deal some damage, build perfection, and then also enable versatile to do more damage. We're now buffed with powerful, the enemy is debuffed with defenseless, so we'll use some more of our free aim shots, and then we're going to attack it again. When the enemy attacks, we're just going to parry this attack. The counter does massive damage. And then we're going to go back to the same tricks of using our free aim shots and then our base attacks. And we'll do that one more time. And after the fight, then we're going to collect our rewards and we'll get a little bit more dialogue and an expanded trade option. Thanks to the duel, it has been ages since I've had this much fun. Choose trade, and now we can purchase the Seidon weapon for Ciel. It costs 12,800 chroma. It's got 587 base power, the light element, and it scales with defense and agility. Let's go ahead and purchase this one. Now we'll go down to the bottom of the list and we're going to purchase the Healing Share Pictos, receive 15% of all heals affecting other characters. With that one purchased, we're also going to buy all 3 of the colors of Lumina that we have available for 1,000 chroma each, and then we're going to buy all of the Resplendent Chroma Catalysts for 3,000 chroma each. We have enough of the Polished Chroma Catalyst and regular Chroma Catalyst that we don't have to buy any of those, and we're not going to purchase the Recoat either. Now let's leave the menu for some more dialogue. Long ago, this island was just like any other. Some humans even decided to come and build their life here. Then the tremors came, and the landscape changed, and the humans were nowhere to be found. I hope we meet again. It's a tad lonely around here. When you're all done with the Gestral Merchant, then turn around and you want to run away from him, and we're going to go down one of the pathways that we can take into other areas. We want to go through the one that's the furthest away from him. There are 4 paths leading away from that Gestral Merchant. 3 of them go to optional areas where we can get some new items, fight some monsters, get some more Pictos, etc. And one of them leads to the boss. We're going to go through the 3 optional areas first. So run all the way forward until you get to the very large stone face, and that will take you into a new area. This is called the Joyful Vale. Starting off, we're just going to run straight ahead of us until we find some monsters along the path. And let's go ahead and fight these guys. The main strategy here is to have Verso kill one of the enemies with a combination of free aim shots and base attacks, and then Mime will finish off the other enemy. So after one round of attacks with Verso, we'll do that again. And now Mime can just go immediately into a Pierce to finish off the other enemy. After the fight, we'll collect our rewards, and we see that we also get a new foot for Monoco, so we get access to a new skill. While looking at the big stone hand in front of you, turn toward the right and follow the path along the right side. And that will take you to an expedition flag. Let's go ahead and use this one real quick. We don't have any attributes to upgrade, so we'll just rest quickly and then we'll leave the expedition flag and continue moving forward.
They seem so joyful. I'm almost jealous.
On the surface, at least.
He who guards truth with lies.
Before we fight the group of monsters ahead of us, we're going to proceed forward and hug the right wall. That will take us up a hill. And you'll see that there's an item on the right, but be careful because there's an ambush here on your left-hand side by a big, scary monster. If you want to, use a free aim shot just to stun him, and then you're able to get to the first strike a little bit easier. The enemy's weak spot is the eye on his chest. If you shoot it a few times, you can do a lot of damage, but it also means that he'll start moving around a lot more and it becomes a lot harder to hit. We're not going to worry too much about trying to hit it, so with Verso, we'll just use a few more free aim shots and then go into our base attacks, and then we'll do that again. The character on the left side of your party will always have a pretty good view of the weak spot, so take your time and aim. The enemy moves pretty methodically, and you're able to line up your shots and get some good damage in. We just want to make sure that we stop with Mime when we have 2 AP remaining so that we can use a Pierce. And now it's Monoco's turn. We could try to shoot to the weak spot on his chest because it's visible. However, I'm just going to use Occultist Slash because we have the Bestial Wheel at Almighty. We do significant damage with this attack and we can take him out pretty easily. We get some pretty good rewards for this fight. Monoco got enough experience to get up to level 35, and he also got a new foot with a new ability for him. Additionally, we get a new weapon for Verso called Contorso that has base power of 435, the lightning element, and it scales with defense and agility. And we also get some Resplendent Chroma Catalyst, allowing us to upgrade a weapon up to level 19. And then when we turn around, we can pick up the item that we ignored earlier to get a healing Tint shard. From here, we're going to go back down the hill the way that we came, and now we're going to fight that group of enemies down below. This fight will play out pretty similarly to the first fight that we had when we entered this area. Just note that the enemy in the middle is floating, so we have to use free aim shots against him, but if you take him out first, there is a chance that he's going to cause exhaustion to your whole party. So instead, we'll ignore him for now and just have Verso attack one of the enemies, and then when he finishes up his follow-up turn, that enemy should be defeated. Now we can have Mime use Pierce against the other enemy on the right, and that enemy is defeated. Monoco's weapon deals darkness damage, which this enemy is weak to, so we can hit him with a couple free aim shots, and that enemy is defeated without causing us any problems. Because we defeated another new enemy, we get another foot with another skill for Monoco, and then we want to turn over toward the left and run toward the trees in the distance. There's a large tree up front, and then we're going to go over toward the right side of it, and at the base is some chroma that we can pick up.
Great.
Now we'll turn toward the right, and we're just going to follow the ledge on the left-hand side. Once you get close to the end, then you can either just run up the hill behind it, or you can climb up the ledge, and we're going to fight the enemies up top. We have yet another new enemy in this fight. We'll ignore him for right now, and instead we'll have Verso start by attacking the enemy on the left-hand side with a combination of those free aim shots and base attacks until we can finish it off. The enemy on the right starts with 2 shields, so we'll have Mime use a couple of free aim shots to get rid of those shields, and then we can follow that up with a Pierce. And finally, it's Monoco's turn. Let's go ahead and use another Cultist Slashes to get rid of this enemy's health, and we'll win the fight. This battle did give us enough experience for Mime to get up to level 37, and because we fought another new enemy, we get yet another foot for Monoco with a new skill. Now we'll turn toward the right, and we can pick up an expedition journal on the ground. Let's have a listen to it.
69th Expedition. Fleur. Good thing Anthony upgraded all the climbing handholds. Not only are they much easier to install in the cliff faces, they're also a lot nicer to use. We're setting the last few handholds tomorrow. Then we can finally get out of these caverns and see the sun again. I can't wait to rejoin the mountaineering team. I still remember that first mountain we scaled. Watching the sun rise above the clouds was magical. But rappelling down as we set the handholds was pure exhilaration. I know some of the others chafe at being restricted to recon only. I get it's not very satisfying making maps and prepping trails while people are dying. But this prep work will pay off in the long run. It may not be glamorous, but truly essential work rarely is. Doesn't make it any less important. And as the Expedition 69 motto says, we are literally laying a trail for the ones who come after. Step by step, handhold by handhold, each expedition carries the next one forward.
So in case you were wondering where all of those handholds came from that we've been using throughout the game, they were placed there by Expedition 69. Now we're going to keep following the path forward along the left-hand side, and we're going to go around the corner where we can find a very sneaky Mime. Let's go ahead and fight this guy. This fight is pretty similar to all the other Mime fights that we fought before. The Mime will protect itself by putting up a wall, and then with Verso, we're going to just start by using a couple free aim shots to get rid of his shields, and then we can use our base attack. Now we can follow that up with a second turn, just using a base attack with no free aim shots. Mime will use a base attack, and Monoco can just use a base attack. All we're doing here is we're just building up our AP charges, and we're also building up his break gauge a little bit. And we're just kind of waiting it out until the Mime will attack. That's where we're going to get most of the break gauge to fill up, because we can parry his attacks. By this point, you should have a pretty good understanding of the timing of these attacks. Remember, he only has 2 attacks, a 3-hit combo or a 4-hit combo, and once we parry those and do a counterattack, we fill up that break gauge pretty well. And I used a Pierce from Mime just to fill it up most of the way. Well, the enemy's break gauge is mostly filled up, and we have over 8 AP with Monoco, so we'll use Portier Crash to break him. Now we can let Verso go crazy doing damage to the enemy. We'll use a bunch of free aim shots and then base attacks, and that should take away most of his health. And now for the rest of the fight, we'll just use free aim shots and base attacks, and that should be enough to take him down really quickly before he has another chance to attack. There you go, another fight without taking any damage. We get enough experience with Verso to get up to level 37, and we also get a new outfit and a new hairstyle for Verso. Now let's turn around and go back the way that we came. We'll run down the path, and then stick over toward the left-hand side. We'll start going down the hill just a little bit, and we'll see a very large face in front of us. Don't go over there just yet. Instead, turn toward the right and start heading over into this opening here. There's a couple enemies up here. Let's go ahead and fight these guys for another easy battle. Once again, we'll have Verso use a combination of free aim shots and base attacks to take out one of the enemies. And then Mayel can use a Pure Say to finish off the other one. After the battle, look toward the right hand side and there's an item on the ground that we can pick up. This will give us another Resplendent Chroma Catalyst. Now we'll turn around and we'll start running forward and we'll go up the hill on the right hand side. There's an enemy on the left on the edge of the cliff. Let's go ahead and fight this guy. Let's have Verso use a couple free aim shots to take away the enemy in the middle shields, and then he can focus on another enemy over on the left hand side with the combination of those free aim shots and base attacks. With that enemy defeated, Mayel is now going to use her Pure Say against the enemy on the right to take it down. And then with Monoco, look at where the bestial wheel is and try to find a skill that matches it. Because I'm on Agile, I'm going to use Cultist Slashes to boost the damage. This enemy is also weak to darkness attacks, which means that we're able to do bonus damage. And there's another easy battle completed. We got enough experience for Monoco to get up to level 36. And then we're going to turn around over toward the right hand side and we're going to go toward the red tree in the distance. And at the base of it is going to be a new Pictos for us to grab. This is Confident Fighter, 30% increased damage but can't be healed. Now we're going to turn around and go back the way that we came down the hill. Once again, ignore the big face in the sky and go straight across this clearing so that we can go into an open area beyond. There's an item in the distance, but be careful because this is another ambush spot. So let's go ahead and get the jump on this enemy and then we're going to battle him. Because we didn't stun him before attacking him, he's actually moving this time instead of exposing his weak point. It's very difficult to get a clean shot at the weak point with Verso, so I wouldn't worry too much about that, and instead just focus on hitting him with your normal free aim shots wherever you want to, and then use your base attack. And on the follow-up turn, we can do the same. Mayel's got a pretty clean shot, and if you look at the animation, the weak spot kind of pauses for a second when it gets to the bottom of that animation, so that's where I like to aim to get the shot a little bit easier. Then he starts freaking out and the weak point is up top. That's a little bit harder to hit, but if you aim properly, you might be able to get it. Just make sure you stop when you only have 2 AP left with Mayel, so you can use a Pure Say. And now it's over to Monoco, and we're just going to use another Cultist Slashes against this, and we should be able to end the fight with that. After the fight, we'll collect our loot, including possibly getting another Resplendent Chroma Catalyst. And then we want to pick up the item on the ground. It's actually another new weapon for Verso. This one's called Confuso. It has a base power of 465, the light element, and it scales with agility and luck. After that, we're going to turn around and go back up the hill into the main clearing, and now we want to turn over toward the left-hand side and go over by the large face in the sky. Once you get close, you can be prompted to talk to it, so let's do that. It's a mask, and it seems connected to the Axon. It speaks. He who painted this world, seeking what he could not grasp, longing to share with those he loves. Behind his smile, what could it be? Well, this is the Joyful Vale, so we'll choose Joy. Something happens. And now we get a boss fight, but don't worry, this one's pretty easy. The enemy starts with the Berserk status. Berserk is a status effect that increases the character's damage every turn. It can be accumulated up to 12 times with each stack increasing damage by 5%. I'm pretty bad at getting the timing for these combos. The enemy can use either a long combo or a short combo. Just try your best to dodge or parry these attacks. The big mask can also heal the main enemy in the middle, so we're basically going to ignore that one for right now, and instead we're going to focus on the two enemies on the side. Well, the enemy on the left-hand side is the one that's weak to free aim shots but can cause exhaustion, so instead we're going to focus on the one on the right-hand side. We'll shoot it with a couple free aim shots, and then we're going to use a base attack with Verso. Now let's follow that up by doing the same thing again to the same enemy. We've seen this trick before where the enemy can get ready for a counterattack, but there's a pretty easy way to get around that. And the other enemy can launch masks into the air, which can cause some small problems for us if we're not careful. To break the enemy's counterattack, just shoot the mouth and the shield, and that will interrupt its counter mode. And then we can have Mael use another Pierce against the enemy on the right, and that should be enough to take him down. The main boss gets another stack of Berserk, meaning it will do 5% more damage, but when we parry attacks, we're able to heal much more than the damage that we're taking, so we don't have to worry about that too much. Now that the enemy on the right is gone, we're going to focus on the main boss with Verso's attacks. So let's use a bunch of free aim shots to keep building up our perfection gauge so that we can do more damage, and then we'll use a base attack when we're out of AP.
Ready to strike.
And again, we'll use all of our AP through free aim shots and then another base attack. The enemy on the left drops items onto you after it summons them, and if you get hit, you'll take a little damage and you'll be inflicted with silence. Because the enemy's weak to darkness attacks, we're going to have Monoco finish that one off with a bunch of free aim shots, and then we can turn our attention back over to the main boss. I've got 5 AP, which is enough for me to use another Cultist Slashes, and that will finish the fight. After the fight, we'll get our rewards, including enough experience for Mael and Verso to level up to level 38, and then we'll get a cutscene. We're then teleported back by the expedition flag near the Gestral merchant, and we get a new weapon for Lune called the Chapelim with a base power of 480 in the earth element. It also scales with defense and agility.
Did you hear that?
That was the Axon.
Destroying these masks seems to hurt him. Then let's keep doing that.
Now let's proceed forward and we'll go back to the expedition flag. We're just going to rest here this time, even though we leveled up and we do have some more attributes to upgrade. I'm going to hold off on that for right now, and we'll just do it all at once a little bit later on before the boss fight. From the expedition flag, ignore the path on the left because we took that one already, and instead go to the next one over on the right. That will take you through a canyon and lead you to a much gloomier place. And once again, we'll approach the big face at the end to be teleported to a new area. This new area that we go to is called the Sadness Vale, and it has a pretty similar layout to the first area that we went to, the Joy Vale. Let's start by going forward along the path, and we're going to fight another one of those creepy monsters along the way. Well, it's currently freaking out, which means it's going to be pretty hard to land a shot against its weak point, so I'd say don't worry too much about that with Verso. If you can get those hits, great. If not, just use your normal free aim shots and then hit it with the base attack. And then we'll do that again on the follow-up. Now Mayel does have a pretty good shot at that weak point, so we'll aim carefully and try to hit it a couple times. Then we can use a few more free aim shots, just make sure that she has 2 AP remaining so that we can use a Pierce. And finally we'll have Monoco use Cultist Slashes and we can win the fight. Now let's collect our rewards and keep moving on. We want to keep following the path in front of us, just kind of follow the moonlight as the trail turns over toward the right. And now we'll head over to the expedition flag and use it real quick. We can just rest, and then we'll move on. We'll move forward a little bit for some more dialogue.
I know they're Nevrons, but witnessing the sorrow of others, I can't help but feel for them.
A noble but tremendously fatal impulse.
Once again, we're going to start by going up the path on the right-hand side, and we're going to fight the enemies that we come to. We're going to start by focusing on the enemy with the shield. We'll use some free aim shots with Verso, and we'll follow that up with some base attacks. Now Mayel can use a Pierce. And we'll use Monoco's free aim shots against the last enemy and we can take him down. And here you can see what happens sometimes where the enemy will cast Exhaust on the expedition. That's why you want to fight those guys last, because you do not want to have no AP for fighting the remaining enemies. Now we're going to turn toward the right and we're going to go up the ledge behind us. And now we can pick up some Chroma on the ground up here.
An advantage.
After that, we're going to turn around and hop back down the ledge. Keep going forward, and we'll fight the enemies in the middle area. This will be pretty similar to the last fight. We're going to have Verso use his free aim shots to get rid of the shields, and then a couple more free aim shots followed up by his base attacks, and we'll do the same thing on the second round, his follow-up turn. Now Mayel can use a Pierce to finish off the enemy in the middle. Monoco will use his free aim shots to attack one of the enemies. We should be able to take it out pretty quickly. Well, Monoco still has 1 AP, so we can go ahead and use that as a free aim shot to try to damage the enemy, and then all we can do is try to use a base attack, but of course we're probably going to miss because the enemy is floating. If the enemy does strike you, it's going to cause a little bit of damage and inflict inverted on you. Now with Verso, we can go ahead and use a couple free aim shots against the enemy, but it won't do too much damage, and then of course his base attack probably won't work either. Because Verso missed his base attack, we do not get the follow-up turn. Instead it just goes over to Mayel, and we've got enough AP that we can just go through our free aim shots AP, and we can take him down pretty quickly. Okay, now from this fight, we're going to turn over toward the left, and we're going to run and get the item on the ground that's glowing in the distance. This will give us yet another Resplendent Chroma Catalyst. Then turn toward the right and go forward. You're going to follow the path up, and then over toward the left. You'll see a big mound ahead of you with a lantern on it. You want to go around toward the back side and pick up the chroma.
What have we here?
And then keep following the path over toward the left. We're going to run across this bridge and we'll fight a pretty difficult enemy in front of us that we have to fight in a very specific way. This is the Chromatic Ramasseur, and it will begin by relentlessly attacking us. We have to try to parry all of these attacks as they come in. They typically come in groups of 2, so it'll be parry parry, slight pause, parry parry, etc. The mortal hit has kind of a long pause before it, and if it does hit your character, it will instantly kill them. This fight is almost like fighting one of those mimes because we have to break the enemy first before we're actually able to attack it and do real damage to it. So just keep parrying those attacks to get a counterattack, and eventually you'll fill up its break gauge. And once it's full, it will be broken, and now we can start to attack. We want Verso to use free aim shots, but I would recommend stopping if you get a mark and switching over to using a base attack at that point.
Let's carve a path.
And now we can use a bunch of free aim shots to try to get our perfection gauge filled up, and we can do more damage when we get to the S rank. The enemy is stunned because we broke it, and now Mayel can go ahead and use a couple free aim shots. We just wanted to get down to the point where we have 2 AP remaining, and then we can use a Pierce against him. Now back to Verso. We'll keep using free aim shots and base attacks to deal lots of damage, especially because we now have S-ranked perfection. Well, now it's Monoco's turn. The Bestial Wheel is set to balance, and unfortunately I'm just 1 AP short of using a Chalier combo, so I've got to use a Cultist Slashes instead. But because the enemy resists dark damage, we're not quite able to get the kill. That's alright though, all we have to do is parry 1 more set of attacks, and we're able to take him down with that counterattack. And there you go, there's another tough chromatic enemy defeated, and we got enough experience for both Mayel and Verso to get up to level 39. We also get some pretty good items as a reward, including a new Pictos, Augmented Counter 2, where we get 50% increased counterattack damage, which is pretty fitting considering the last fight we just had. We also got 2 Resplendent Chroma Catalysts and 5 colors of Lumina. Now we're going to turn toward the right, and if you look into the distance, you can see another Pictos glowing on the ground over here. Let's go and pick this up to get Glass Cannon, deal 25% more damage, but take 25% more damage. Now we're going to turn around and go back the way we came as we hug the left wall. That's going to return us to the main area. Let's keep following the wall around toward the left, and we'll see another large mask in the distance. Ignore it and instead cross over toward the right hand side, and we're going to follow the path over toward the top of this area. We're going to start by turning over toward the right hand side, and we're going to go forward and we can fight the enemies over here. Here we have another very easy fight. We're going to start by having Verso use free aim shots and his base attacks to take out the enemy on the left.
My turn.
And now Mayel will use Pierce to take out the enemy on the right. After that, Monoco can use his free aim shot to take out the enemy in the middle, and this fight's done. Let's collect our rewards, and then we'll carry on. The enemies that we just fought were guarding an item on the ground. Let's go and pick it up, and we're going to get an energy tint shard. Now we can turn around, and we're going to run forward along the path. And now let's follow the wall on our right as it curves around. And then we're going to go up the hill in front of us. There's a couple more enemies up here. Let's go ahead and fight these guys. Starting off, let's have Verso use his combo of free aim shots and base attacks to attack the enemy in the middle with the shield, and we're able to do lots of damage to him and build up our perfection gauge a bit. While it's tempting for Mayal to go straight into a pure say, we're going to pause for a second and use some free aim shots against that same enemy in the middle. We're going to use enough free aim shots so that we end up with 2 AP left with Mayal, and now we can use a pure say against the enemy on the right to finish it off. It's now Monoco's turn. We're going to have him use his free aim shots to attack the enemy on the left until he's defeated. Even if the enemy applies exhaust to you, we still have enough firepower to take out this enemy in the middle between the last remaining free aim shot and a base attack from Monoco. Another fight down, and we get enough experience for Monoco to get up to level 38. After that, you want to keep going forward, and there's going to be a path that goes up and over toward the left. Let's circle around, and we want to go all the way around the big pillar on our left, and we can pick up another item that's tucked away up here. And this is going to be another Resplendent Chroma Catalyst. Now let's turn around so we can go back the way that we came, and we're going to go up the hill on the left side. We'll climb up the ledge to get to the upper area, and then we'll proceed forward until we can get to another expedition journal. Let's have a listen to this one.
Expedition 39. Owlbear. Edith's not back. So until then, we stay on recon. All these masks are freaking me out. They're fucking creepy. I swear I could hear one of them singing. The Nevrons around here behave so strangely. Almost like they don't really want to kill us. They still do, though. This place is making me crazy. Maybe if I wore one of these masks, they'd leave me alone.
After you collect the journal from Expedition 39, you want to turn toward the right, and you can hop down the ledge in front of you. Keep going forward, and we'll drop down another ledge. And then we can turn toward the right and interact with the big face in the sky. A mask. It seems connected to the Axon. It speaks. He who lives in between. Behind his veil, emotions swell. For a life forced to paint. What is he but a reflection of... Well, this is the sadness veil, so we'll choose sadness. Something happens. And now we have another boss fight. The main boss will be able to summon some masks to help it out, and then the big mask in the background can apply exhaust to a party member. We're going to have Verso start by attacking the enemy on the left. Once again, we'll use our free aim shots, followed up by some base attacks. But watch out, because the enemy in the middle can counter by throwing a mask at you. If you can successfully parry it, you'll be able to counter for massive damage. After being so rudely interrupted by the enemy, Verso gets his follow-up turn now, and we can go back to using our free aim mode and base attacks to do more damage to the enemy on the left with the shield. And now once again, we'll try our best to either dodge or parry the attacks from the enemies. Now here comes another sneak attack by the main boss, and if we can parry it properly, we'll counterattack and we'll get the kill. This enemy is getting ready to counterattack, so we're just going to have Mayal go into free aim mode and shoot the mouth, and that will be enough to disable that counterattack and interrupt it, and now we can just go ahead and use a Pierce against the enemy on the right to take him down.
Sweet.
It's Monoco's turn once again, and even though our Bestial Wheel isn't going to power up our Cultist Slashes, it should be enough to take him down thanks to hitting its weakness to dark damage. And there you go, there's another boss defeated. We'll collect all of our rewards, and then we'll get another cutscene before going back to the main hub. At this point, we get a new weapon for Monoco called the Boucharo. It has a base power of 489, the fire element, and it scales with both agility and luck.
Yeah, it definitely hurts him. I think I saw one more path.
That's good. We're weakening him.
This feels off.
Now let's keep going forward, and we'll go over to the expedition flag. If you need to, use the flag to rest and get your health back, and then we're going to continue on past here. We're now going to run past the Gestral merchant and go behind him, and that will take us on another path. We're going to ignore the big path on the left just next to the Gestral merchant and instead run past him and then follow the path over toward the left. This is going to take us into a new area that looks a lot different from the previous ones. This one has a lot more red and rocks to it, and we're going to go forward from here before dropping down the ledge and going to a lower area. If you look around this area, you're going to pick up some chroma on the ground, and then you want to turn around and go over to the large red face in the distance, and that will teleport you to another area. We've been to the Joy Vale and the Sadness Vale, and this is the Anger Vale.
Everything's destroyed.
Normally, I enjoy a little destruction, but this doesn't feel right.
It's rage.
Now let's go fight the enemies up ahead along the path. There are no new enemy types in the Anger Vale, just different combinations of the enemies we've already seen. Verso will begin by using free aim mode to go through all of his AP, and then we can use our base attack, and then we'll use that same combination a second time, and we'll do lots of damage to one of these enemies. The enemy on the left only has a little health left, so we're going to have Mime use some free aim shots to take out the rest of his health, and now we can fire a few more times at the enemy's shields to get rid of them. Make sure that you still have 2 AP left so that you can use a Pierce against the other enemy. And now with Monoco, we can hit the enemy's weakness to dark damage by using Cultist Slashes. If it's on the Almighty mask or the Agile mask, it will definitely be a kill. Let's collect our rewards. We got enough experience for Mime and Verso to get up to level 40, and we're going to then continue on from this point on by going forward and over toward the right. We'll run past the faces and through the cave, and when we come out on the other side, we'll stick over toward the right, but we can ignore the expedition flag for right now. Instead, turn toward the right and go up the hill. If you look over toward the back side of this area, you can find an item on the ground. Let's pick it up to get another Resplendent Chroma Catalyst, and now we can turn around and go back to that expedition flag. If you need to use it to rest, you can certainly do that to get all your health back, and then we're going to continue forward, and we're going to take out the enemies right in front of us down below on the lower level. Let's start by having Verso use his free aim shots to take out the enemy's shields, and then we can use a base attack. And now we're going to do that again. With Mime, we're going to use a Pierce against that same enemy in the middle to take out the rest of his health. And then Monoco is going to use his free aim shots to take out one of these enemies. Dead Energy 2 activates, giving us more AP, and it is enough to be able to take out the other enemy. Let's collect our rewards, including enough experience for Monoco to get up to level 39, and then we're going to turn over toward the left side, away from the big mask in the distance, and we're going to run forward toward the other faces. Now go up to the wall behind those faces, and then circle around toward the left. And we can find some more chroma on the ground back here.
Oh, lovely.
After picking up the chroma, turn around and then run forward, and we're going to hug this left wall for a little while. We'll circle around the ledge, and now we can attack the enemies at the top of this area. This is a bit of a tricky fight. We're going to have Verso use his free aim shots and base attacks to damage one of the enemies. And then we'll do that again. And now with Mayel, we're going to have her use her free aim shots to take away the other enemy's shields. Make sure that you've got 2 AP remaining, and then use a Pierce against the same enemy that Mayel took the shields away from. Monoco is then going to use his free aim shots to take out the enemy on the right. When Dead Energy 2 activates, we get enough AP to use some free aim shots to damage the enemy a little bit more, and then we can just use Monoco's base attack to finish him off. Now the enemy gets ready to counterattack. We're going to have Verso use his free aim shot to attack the mouth, and that will interrupt the counterattack. And then we can just go back to the usual tactic of shooting a bunch of times and using the base attack to finish him off. After the fight, we'll collect our reward, including a possible Resplendent Chroma Catalyst, and then we also want to pick up the item on the ground that the enemies were guarding. This is going to be a Revive Tint Shard. Now we're going to turn around to go back the way that we came, and we're going to hug the left wall as it curves around. We're going to go over to the golden rope and use that to go down to the lower level. If we look straight ahead of us, there's going to be a new Pictos on the ground, but be careful because there's an enemy lying in wait to attack us if we run over there too fast. So instead, we're just going to shoot it to disable it quickly, and then run over there and we can initiate that first strike. There's nothing really special about this guy. We've fought these guys before, and we're going to fight this one the same way. We'll have Verso try to hit that weak point, although it is a little bit hard to hit from this angle. If you just want to unload your free aim shots into him, that's totally fine too. Or just wait until you get a mark and then use the base attack, and then go ahead and do that all again. Now with Mayel, we get a good shot at the enemy's weak point, so let's go ahead and hit that and do lots of damage. And we'll see if we can get a few more hits into it. When we've got 2 AP left, we're going to use a Pierce. If the enemy survives that, have Monoco use one of his skills, ideally one that would be powered up through the Bestial Wheel. And then when the fight's over, we do want to pick up that new Pictos on the ground, so let's go over here and grab it. And this is going to be powered attack. On every damage dealt, try to consume 1 AP. If successful, increase damage by 20%. Then turn around and go up the hill behind you following the red grass. When you get up to the top, you're going to see 3 glowing blue dots in the distance. Let's run over there toward those blue dots. This will take you into a cave. You want to go over toward the right side first, and you'll find a doorway that leads back into the mysterious manor. Once you arrive inside the manor, you want to turn toward the left and you can find an item on the ground. Let's go pick it up, and this is going to be a new music record that we need to collect called Verso. There is a large piano right next to us, and what's interesting is that if you get close, the music of this area goes away, and you can press the square button to play a little music yourself. Not bad, Verso, not bad at all. When you've had your fill of playing the piano, then you want to turn over toward the left and we're going to go through the nearby doorway. Once you get inside, turn toward the left and you'll find another expedition journal. Let's have a listen to this one.
Art can be a window and art can be a mirror. And great art is both. Son, you'll never be a true artist if there's always a mask between you and the viewer, especially when the viewer is you.
After collecting the unknown journal, then we're going to turn toward the right and we're going to go through the door. From here, continue going forward all the way down as you follow the line of carpet. Go down the stairs and then over toward the right. That will take you back down into the entryway area and we'll use the front door to exit. This is going to return us to the Anger Vale in Visages, and we're going to keep running forward along the path going back toward the entrance to the cave where those 3 blue dots were, but we're going to turn toward the right and follow the path around this way, and now we can find a few more monsters over here that we can fight. We'll begin by having Verso use some free aim shots against one of these enemies with the shields, and then we can use a base attack against him as well. And now on the follow-up turn, we'll take away the other shielded enemy's shields, and hopefully we can stick him with a mark as well. If you do that, then we're just going to switch and attack the first enemy that we fought, and then use a base attack against him. With Mael, we're going to use our free aim shots against the enemy on the right. That'll take away some more of his health, but you want to stop when you've got 2 AP left so that you can use a Pierce against the enemy in the middle to take it out. From here with Monoco, I'm just going to use a Cultist Slashes against the enemy on the left. Now, it isn't powered up at all through the Bestial Wheel, so it doesn't do bonus damage, and I don't get the kill from it, but that's okay. At least now I can show off what the enemy's attacks look like. They've got a couple different attacks when they don't go into counterattack mode. If it slams its shield, it's actually a gradient attack, so be sure to hit R2 right when the enemy starts to fall down after pausing slightly in the air, and you'll get the counterattack to take it out. The sword combo is a 3-hit attack, and I only was able to parry one of those, but I don't take a whole lot of damage anyway, and it's not a big deal. And then with Verso, we're just going to go crazy attacking with our free aim mode, and then we'll use a base attack to finish it off. So it wasn't a perfect fight, but it also wasn't that bad either. We get a bunch of experience, and now we're going to continue on from here. These enemies were also guarding an item, so let's go over here and pick up a new Pictos called Double Burn. On applying a burn stack, apply a second one. Well, we're almost done with the Anger Vale. Let's turn around and go back toward those 3 blue dots on the ceiling, and then we'll turn right to exit the cave. We now want to stick over toward the right side, and we're going to go up the hill. When we get to the top, let's fight the enemy up here. We'll begin by having Verso attack the enemy on the left with the shield. A couple free aim shots will take away its shield, then we can use base attacks against it, and we'll do that again for the follow-up turn. We can have Mael use her free aim shots to continue to hurt the enemy on the left. Make sure you've got 2 AP so that you can use a Pierce against the enemy in the middle to destroy it. Now Monoco is going to attack the enemy on the left and take it out because it's at very low health. And now we'll focus on the enemy on the right. A couple more free aim shots and that enemy is gone. At this point, we got enough experience for Mael to get up to level 41, and our other characters are also close to leveling up. We'll continue to run forward after the fight, and we can grab the item on the ground in the back by these crates. This will be a Resplendent Chroma Catalyst. Now we'll turn around and run forward. You can either run down the hill or just drop off the ledge, and then stick over toward the right hand side and run over toward the large angry mask in the distance, and then we'll press square to interact with it. A mask. It seems connected to the Axon. It speaks. He who cannot fight fate. Behind his scowl, emotions blaze. But in the shadows, his temper fades. What am I but a mask of... And the answer is, of course, anger. Something happens. And just like the other Vales, we now have a boss fight. We'll try to dodge or parry the attacks as best as we can, but if you get hit, it's not a big deal. Verso then can retaliate by using his free aim shots to take away the enemy's shields, and then we'll use a base attack as well against the same enemy in the middle. And we'll do the same for the follow-up turn. The enemy on the right can launch some masks and get ready to attack us with them in just a moment. And then the enemy on the left will perform either a short or a long combo. Again, try to dodge or parry as best as you can. If you can parry all the attacks, you'll counter and probably take out the enemy directly. Now it's Mael's turn, and we're in virtual stance, so we're doing 200% damage. Let's use some free aim shots against the enemy in the middle. We'll stop when we get 2 AP remaining, and then we're going to use a Pierce against him. Now here comes another sneak attack by the enemy on the right, and if you can parry it, then you'll counter and take him down too. Here comes another shield slam gradient attack where we can parry it pretty easily, and then the counter attack will be enough to take him down. At this point, we get enough experience for Verso to get to level 41 and Monoco to get up to level 40, and then we get a cutscene after this. We'll be brought back to the main hub, and we get a new weapon for Mael called Clierum with a base power of 485 in the lightning element. It also scales with defense and agility.
I think that's all of them.
We should be able to fight the Axon properly now.
Let's answer this thing's invitation.
We've cleared out the 3 optional paths, and now we want to go over to the expedition flag, and we're now going to upgrade our attributes because we've leveled up many times throughout this process. Starting off with Lune, we'll give her 6 points into Might to raise it up to 99, and then we'll give the rest of the points into Agility, raising that one up to 6. We'll go over to Verso, and we'll give him 15 points into Agility, raising his total to 24. And Mael will also get 15 points into Agility, raising her total to 24. Monoco is going to get 18 points into Agility, raising it up to 21. And finally, with Ciel, we'll max out her Might at 99 and give the remaining points into Agility, raising that up to 9. And at this point, everyone has maxed out their Might stat, and we're starting to work on Agility. Now we're going to rest at the expedition flag, and when we're done, we'll leave the flag, and then we're going to run back over to the Gestral Merchant. When you get here, turn left and then go up the path. This is going to be a very long path that will take you all the way to a Fated Man NPC, so enjoy the run over there. It's pretty scenic, and then we'll come back together to talk to the man. I would have traded my years for his. His life was cut short. He had so much more to do, to experience. This senseless war, why, to what end? Lives shattered, for what? He was innocent. Innocent. It was the folly of his elders, but he paid the price for our hubris. I would have traded my years for his. Who are you talking about? this place, this Axon, they are all part of his story. The man has gone silent. Now we're going to turn toward the left and continue to follow the path all the way up using some grapple points along the way, and there's going to be some dialogue as you go.
Monoco, what does that mean? He who guards truth with lies.
Exactly what it sounds like.
Guard as in protect? Or guard as in control?
Yes.
And now continue to use the grapple points as you climb up the rest of the path. When you get toward the top, you'll find another expedition flag. Go ahead and use it to rest if you want to. This is our last stop before we go on to fight the boss. When you're ready, go up the nearby stairs and use the grapple point to get up higher. Then continue toward the big mask in the sky and you'll get a cutscene and the boss fight.
I think you pissed him off.
We now have a boss fight against Visages, and it has an incredibly easy mechanic. It's going to summon masks out of the mirror. All we have to do is attack the mask. Most of his attacks are pretty slow and well telegraphed. However, sometimes you will have to jump over certain attacks, so be prepared to do more than just dodge or parry. Now what you have to do to win this fight easily is just go into free aim mode and shoot the glowing parts of the masks that are coming out of the mirror. In this case, we'll just shoot the one eye, and then we can continue to attack the face in the mirror by using some more free aim shots and our base attacks with Verso. Then on Mayel's turn, we're going to go ahead and use some more free aim shots. We'll try to get a mark to stick, but if not, no big deal. We'll just stop when we get down to 2 AP and then use a Pierce. Now it's Monoco's turn, and this boss has a weakness to dark damage, which is perfect for Monoco. We'll have him use Occultist Slashes, even though we are not getting this powered up by the Bestial Wheel matching the correct mask. We're still able to do a lot of damage thanks to that weakness to dark. Now because we destroyed the glowing parts of the mask, it will disappear and a new mask will emerge from the mirror. We get a different type of attack now, and this time when the boss attacks us, it's going to generate a shield for every time it hits us. And because it hit us a few times, it's going to regain a few shields. That's not a big deal though. We'll just have Verso use his free aim mode to shoot the glowing spots on this new mask. In this case, it's both of its eyes. And then we'll go back to using our normal attack with him. And on the follow-up turn, we'll do the same thing. We'll use some free aim shots, and then we'll use a base attack. And because we destroyed the glowing parts of the mask, it will be destroyed and replaced by another mask. Now the enemy will attack. I find that when it attacks with the Doubt mask, it's very easy to parry because these are some of those very long and slow attacks that are easy to read. And if you parried all of those, you'll get a good expedition counter for lots of damage. Now with Mayel, we'll use our free aim shots to destroy the 2 glowing eyes of this mask, and then once those are destroyed, we'll attack it a few more times. We don't have enough AP to use Pierce, but we can use Offensive Switch, and that will give us a boost to our damage next turn. There's nothing fancy about Verso's turn here, just go ahead and keep using his free aim shots paired with his base attack, and we should be up to S ranked perfection right now if we've been pretty good about dodging the enemy's attacks. Thanks to our S ranked perfection, we're doing tons of damage when we attack, and the enemy only has a sliver of health left. We'll have Monoco use Cultist Slashes to deal some additional damage. Now what's an interesting mechanic here is that if we destroyed all 5 of the masks that come out of the mirror, the boss will instantly be defeated without us having to actually take away all of his health.
People want so badly to know what's behind the mask. Front, back, recto, verso. Great art is both window and mirror. Whether it's your mask or theirs.
Harmless, huh?
He's the real Axon.
Child, we all need masks, but how you use them.
Now we get part 2 of the fight against the Mask Keeper, and we begin right where we left off, so we already have an S rank with Verso. Let's go ahead and start by using some free aim shots, and then use a base attack against him. And then we'll use the same tactic for our follow-up turn. The Mask Keeper will try to summon one of the masks from before, however, because we destroyed it, nothing happens, and instead he'll just attack normally. It's now Mayel's turn, and she's in offensive stance because that's where we left her last time. We'll use a couple free aim shots and then just a base attack. It's now Monoco's turn, and the bestial wheel is highlighting Almighty, which means it powers up any type of attack. Let's use Cultist Slashes to hit his weakness to dark damage and do massive damage against him. Now the Mask Keeper is surrounded by a defensive aura, and he will gain a shield for each blow he deals to an Expeditioner. When he attacks with a combo, try to dodge or parry as many attacks as possible so that you're not letting him generate a ton of shields. But even if he does get some shields, we can just take those away with Verso using his free aim mode. And then we'll use our base attack. Now we can follow that up by hitting him with some more of our free aim shots. And then another base attack. Now at this point the enemy's break gauge is filled, so we're going to have Mayel use Fleuret Fury to break him. Because we broke him, he's stunned and we skip his turn, and then it's back over to Verso, who can finish the fight with some free aim shots and a base attack. After that we'll collect our rewards, and then we'll get a cutscene to finish this area off.
We did it.
Because it is me. Axon down. Let's bring this to the curator.
That was Verso, wasn't it? Renoir.
And now we get a new trophy called First Axon. Back at camp.
Me? You want me to give it to you?
Why?
I saw...
What happened?
I saw... It was... Renoir.
I used to see him in my nightmares too. He can be quite traumatizing.
When we regain control of Verso, we're going to head over toward the left and we're going to use the expedition flag. And this is where we're going to end part 11. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit that like button as it really helps me out, and consider subscribing so that you can join our amazing community and so you can stay up to date with the rest of the videos in the series and more to come. I'll see you soon in part 12. Until then, thanks for watching and have a good day.